Hello and welcome back to my FPL channel. I am Fpl Gw22 and today you are here for Game Week 22 differentials. And look, this is where you can make bulk rank. Like me this week, Fpl Foden, 15 points, massive differential, only 5% ownership. That's how you make rank. And look, Bruno Fernandes is someone else that I've also got in my team, and Ahmad, who are slightly more owned, and they will hopefully deliver for me tonight after you watch this video. Obviously, this is my second video of the day, so I do apologize, but look, there is not much time, and I don't like doing this video of anything else. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Make sure you drop a like on the video. Subscribe, please, if you are new. Definitely help grow the channel. And yeah, let's get into it. There's only a couple of days to make some transfers, so let's find out who I'm thinking ahead of the Game Week 22 deadline. All right, so moving into the differential. So obviously, Crystal Palace, amazing run of fixtures. They started off with a 2-0 win against Leicester. I actually thought Leicester might score, but they didn't. They kept a shutout, so that's really good for their defenders. Arsenal still in a pretty good fixture run. You'd have to say it does get slightly harder for their defenders, but it's so hard to recommend them. Like they just don't look free-flowing. Yes, they won against Tottenham, but Tottenham, they are Tottenham. Like, yeah, let's just be honest there. Man United, we are yet to see how they perform against Southampton, but hopefully they pop off tonight, and that will make them a really enticing lot of players to target. I mean, I've got Bruno on my team. I've got Ahmad in my team. Like, I need to make some defensive transfers, so I'm delving into the defenders because I'm definitely 100% going to be making a defender transfer this week. Chelsea, still in a good run of fixtures, even though their form has really tapered off of late. I'm not sure what the hell's going on there. Hopefully they can turn around. Liverpool's still in a nice little run. They've got Brentford obviously this week, but then it does get significantly easier for them in the run up to that double game week. Obviously got Ipswich in 23, and then it's really nice that either side of the double game week with Wolves obviously at home the following week following the double. Brighton, they are in actually a fairly decent run of fixtures. Again, they are a team that has been frustrating me. A bit like Aston Villa. Aston Villa don't feature on here. They will be featuring next week. They have a nice little block of 3 fixtures, so if you wanted to jump early in them, I can 100% understand that. Newcastle, unbelievably good form. Again, massively good run of fixtures. And Forest, mate, they're a secret outsider for the league. Like, they've been really good. Best budget options, I'm hopefully going to cover them for you. I'm not really looking on the expensive options at all in the defence. I don't rate any of the expensive options at the moment. I think you're just not getting bang for your buck. Who's going under the radar? There's a few players that are going under the radar, I can tell you that much. The January transfer window, do you have to be concerned about it? Looks like Arsenal are actually going to go out and sign an attacker. If they sign an attacker, I can tell you what, that's going to be a really good differential. But at the moment, we don't know, and we have to see when they settle in. Like, you can't just jump the gun, and it might not actually be a very good move. So that's something to keep in mind. Planning for the double game week and blank game weeks, you need to start focusing on that. That's obviously where my line of thinking is. And I did cover that in my preview earlier about where I want to go, Forest defender, and then try and get a third Liverpool player in. Talk about some of the players I like the look of in Liverpool a little bit later on, and then we'll go from there. And then obviously the blank game week, and making sure you're not saddled with too many players that are going to potentially blank in game week 29. We'll know more about that before the double game week. I think it's either 24 or 25, the start of that, and then we'll be able to form our thinking a little bit more in terms of our transfers and that, which we do up until the blank game week. Lastly, should you be concerned with new manager bouts as well? We saw that West Ham beat Fulham 3-2, so yes, I think you should be concerned more so with West Ham, who look like they've got far more attacking potential than what Everton do at the moment. But I have covered a couple of Everton players in here, so we'll see how we go. And then, yeah, obviously, let's get into it. We've got the goalkeepers this week. There's only 2 that are under 10% ownership. That's Dubravka and Alisson Becker that I can highly recommend. Defenders, we've got Milinkovic, Murillo, Williams in that order. Munoz, Gahey, Mitchell, Timber, Chalobah is a really interesting topic. Now, he has been recalled by Chelsea to hopefully go straight into the centre of their defence. I think that makes Chelsea's defence significantly better. I think it makes Crystal Palace's significantly worse. We'll look at that in a little bit. Kirk's obviously still a good option. Maguire makes the list. He has been absolutely fantastic for Man United, and this is before the Southampton game, but he's just really good. Nice differential, been bossing it. I mean, if they start keeping clean sheets, Maguire's going to be in the bonus 100% because he is playing out of his skin at the moment. Castagna obviously is still there as well from Fulham. I've got rid of Anderson. I just don't think anyone really should be going there. It's either Castagna, Robinson, or you're not going to Fulham defence. Midfielders, my man Fpl Foden is front and centre. He's got Ipswich Town this weekend. He could definitely go big again. No doubting of that at all. We've got Son, Eze and Sarah both still there. Gibbs White and Elanga, who has been unbelievably good at the budget price point. Probably the best budget option in the game. Just in front of Murphy, I reckon, at the moment, just with the way he's playing. Kudos is also in there with Lucas Paqueta from West Ham. They're going to be involved from an attacking perspective. There's no one there really that's going to stop them from playing as well. So that's something to keep in mind. Jota, Murphy, Savinho, Iwobi finally returned. He's back on the list because, Fulham's run is not too bad from an attacking perspective. And Slobber's from Liverpool and Jota, the two that I really want to delve into there, potentially if you are going to bring a Liverpool asset in before that double game week and you wanted a second attacker. These two could be ones to look at. In the forward line, it's still Mateta. He's still under 5% ownership, which is amazing considering that they do have an amazing fixture run coming up. Gapco and Solanke there are the expensive options. Then I've got Ndai, who I think could be a good Everton option if they start scoring some goals. And then I've got Raul Jimenez, who's still been pretty good, to be fair, even though he did blank on the weekend. And Wissa, who's just been performing phenomenally for his price. So without further ado, let's get into the fixture difficulty rating and just check that I'm talking some sense. So as you can see there, Arsenal still a pretty good run. Aston Villa's run does start after next week, so that's something to keep in mind. Bournemouth have a couple of tricky weeks here, which is why a lot of their players don't feature on there, which is why you don't find a Clivert and a Semenyo. Yes, they might be still okay from an attacking perspective, but for me, I want to see a nice run of fixtures before I'm jumping there. For me, I'd still be leaving them on the bench if I own those players at the moment. Brentford, again, another 3 weeks before their run opens up as well. Brighton, as you can see there, looking pretty good. Chelsea, ditto. I mean, they haven't really got a hard game. Aston Villa away and Man City away are not really that difficult games in terms of an attacking sense. Defensively, they just keep conceding a goal, so you can't really recommend any of the defenders at the moment. But with Chalobah coming back into the team, that could be significant. So it's a wait and see at the moment on that one. He's the only one I can recommend. Crystal Palace, obviously, amazing run of fixtures there. And obviously you can see the doubles now factored in for the Everton and Liverpool games, which are there. And then obviously, other than that, Man United do have that nice little fixture run still, and we've got the Southampton game to come tonight. Newcastle, ditto, nice little fixture run there. And Nottingham Forest, nice 4 or 5 weeks there as well. Southampton, you're not going there. And Spurs actually have a decent run as well, which is why we look at them. So without further ado, let's get into Ndai. So there you go. I've just started on that. 5.4 million. Now, if there's an Everton player that I can recommend, it's probably no one, realistically, and I don't think you should be going there. But if you really wanted to save money and backing in the fact that he is playing 90 minutes, and if Everton ever become more attacking, this bloke's going to be involved. We can see that obviously he returned against Man City in game week 18. Across the season, though, he's 0.1 expected goals, 0.05 expected assists. But if they start pushing him further forward, he could become an option. I just wanted to flag it, 0.7% ownership. Not going to waste any more time there. And since we start on the forward lines, let's continue with the forward line. So the Vardy party could be interesting. He's obviously played 3 back-to-back 90s, and Leicester need to start getting some wins. They've had 6 losses on the trot. They've got to start winning. This Fulham game at home is massive for them. The Everton away games are also massive for them. They really need points. If Spurs away, they could also get something as well. 0.41 expected goals per 90, 0.12 expected assists. There's a lot to like there. It's just, he's old. He doesn't stay fit. There's a lot of things that you do have to take into consideration in terms of that. Raul Jimenez, as I talked about before, he's still been playing 90 minutes. He played 90 minutes against West Ham, 90 minutes against Ipswich. Will he play on the weekend? Will he start against Leicester? I'm not sure. Maybe Munoz starts, but like for 5.7, guaranteed penalty taker, he should have scored. Like, he got put on a plate there by Iwobi. Sadly, he just spurned the opportunities. Now, Wissa is definitely the pick of the cheaper options. 9.8% ownership, so only just fits in here. He's now returned 3 attacking returns in the last 2 weeks. He has got Liverpool at home, but if there's someone that's going to score, it's probably going to be Wissa outside of Mbeumo. And then the run kind of opens up. Crystal Palace away, Spurs at home. Not concerned about that at all. West Ham, Leicester, Everton, Villa, Bournemouth. Up to game week 29. That's just brilliant. Like, he looks like a solid option. There's a lot to like there. If I was looking for a differential, I think, and I needed to save some money, he's definitely the one I'd be going to out of those 3. Now, in terms of the more expensive options, Gapco's up to 7.4, and I don't think he really warrants. Yes, he played 90 minutes against Nottingham Forest, 85 against Man United. For me, he's still a bit of a minutes risk. Darwin Núñez obviously missed this game for his suspension, which has a significant impact, I think, on Gapco's minutes moving forward. When he is available, he will definitely eat into Gapco's minutes. So, for me, if you wanted, he's likely to start all 3 games, Ipswich, Bournemouth, Everton and Wolves, but I just can't guarantee his minutes. So I'm not sure if he's the pick that I would like there. But yeah, look, his underlying data for the season as well, 0.32 expected goals per 90, 0.2 expected assists. It's actually not too bad. Like, he's pretty good from that sense. Now, Mateta, who I'd probably put at the top of this list for differentials, 4.3% ownership. He's gone up to 7.3 now. Had 1.01 expected goals against Chelsea and obviously scored. Got 1 bonus point, so that's 3 bonus points across the last 2 weeks and obviously 2 goals. The fixture run is looking pretty good, and his data for the season is 0.39 expected goals, 0.05 expected assists. So worse than Gapco when you combine them. But the fixture run between now and game week 29, potentially Palace will blank in game week 29, so that's something to factor in here. But the fixture run up to there looks amazing. Like, he is going to score goals. Yeah, and I'm not surprised he did. I mean, like, my team I'm quite happy with, so I'm not really too fussed about it. The other one that you do need to keep in mind, Dominic Solanke. Now, he didn't do a hell of a lot against Arsenal, didn't really look that threatening. And, you know, that's 3 blanks in the last 4, and obviously he scored the own goal, which is desperately unlucky, but you can't hold that against the man. But the run of fixtures coming up for Tottenham actually doesn't look too bad. Like, they should be getting some wins here. Everton away, Leicester at home, the next 2 look pretty good. Ipswich also follows in 26. And if you look ahead to game week 29, they've got Fulham, which potentially might be a blank. So again, that might be something that might put you off going there. Now, when we go into the midfielders, let's have a look here. So we're going to start with Voiber. He's now up to number 5 overall for points this season. So this man, 0.14 expected goals, 0.24 expected assists. He definitely outperformed his XG on the weekend with 2 goals from 0.05 expected goals. Is insane. 7.8% ownership though. Still under 6 million, 5.9. He's still a nice option. Fulham's run is actually not too bad as well. In terms of an attacking sense, I wouldn't be concerned about any of those games coming up, except probably the Newcastle away game and the Forest at home game. But the rest, they're more than capable of scoring goals up until game week 29. So again, he could be an option. Now, Maddison made Tottenham look a lot better, but he doesn't feature on the list. But I feel like Ange has got to start playing him, like, because this dude just makes Tottenham a lot better when he's on the field, as far as I'm concerned. But he obviously doesn't like him for whatever reason, and I'm not sure why. Son obviously returned here. He scored against Arsenal, got a bonus point, scored from 0.14. Now, his stats for the season, 0.33 expected goals, 0.24 expected assists. He's better than Gapco. He's on penalties. And as I said, the fixture run for Tottenham looks really good. He's definitely someone you should be looking at if you've got the money. But I wouldn't be going there personally myself. If you wanted to, you could look at Johnson, but again, I think he's a bit of a minutes risk. With Kulusevski playing on the right, if Maddison plays, Johnson's on the bench. It's as simple as that. Richarlison's also back from injury now. That's probably going to impact on his minutes as well. As I said, Bruno Fernandes is up there. Clive and Semenyo, both relevant players, but the Bournemouth run for the next 3 weeks isn't fabulous. Newcastle away, Forest at home, Liverpool at home. Yes, 2 of the games are at home. They may score. I just don't like their chances, and I'd rather come in at game week 25 as a point of difference when they've got Southampton followed by Wolves. Like, that is the far better entry point. But again, Semenyo, amazing on the weekend. 0.31 expected goal involvement per 90. Expected goals, 0.14 expected assist. That is only going to improve with Valentin out of the team. Like, Semenyo looked like he was playing a little bit closer to goal, more centrally. So that's the snippets of what I saw in that game. Kulusevski, still not a bad shout, but he got pretty rinsed on the weekend. But his numbers are still really good for the season. 0.17, 0.18, 6.4. He's probably the pick over Johnson if you're weighing up the 2 as a Tottenham asset. Yeah, for me. I'm just going to check what Ahmad's is. So, yeah, he's definitely no longer a differential. Damsgaard, unlucky to meet it. Now, Elanga, we need to talk seriously about him. 5.2 million he's gone up to now. 4.5% ownership. 7, 6, 6, 11, 9, 6 the last 6 weeks. He has been unbelievably good. Played a great pass as well for Chris Wood's goal here as well. If you're really after a budget neighbour, it's between him and Murphy for me. I don't know which one's better at the moment, but 0.15 and 0.15 per assist, per goals, per 90. There's a lot to like there. Yeah. Sarr's numbers again were really good. He finally returned on the weekend with an assist. I just prefer Eze compared to him. I know you're paying 0.7 million more. He's still a really good differential. His numbers for the season, 0.5 expected goal involvement per 90. Just looks really good. Crystal Palace's run, as we've talked about, is amazing, but potentially there could be a blank in game week 29, so you don't want to load up too heavily on there. I think you either pick a midfielder and a defender or or a defender and a forward, or a midfielder and a forward, and forgo the other position. That's my line of thinking. Savinho, again, returned here. That's 3 weeks in a row. He's now returned. That's 4 weeks in a row now. He's pretty much played 90 minutes. He is a man in form. Pep's obviously trusting him. The Ipswich game this week is amazing, but then after that, it dives off a cliff. So I'm not sure if I'll be going there. Jacob Murphy, again, 77 minutes here. He wasn't involved in terms of the attacking output, but he still was pretty involved in the play. He just, unfortunately, wasn't involved in any of the goals. Ignore the yellow flag. He obviously played, and they've got Bournemouth at home, followed by Southampton. So still a really good pick there. He's definitely comes in at number 2. I think Elanga's overtaken him in terms of what's going on now. Gibbs White for the first week in what feels like forever didn't do a hell of a lot and had pretty much no goal involvement or expected goal involvement throughout that 90 minutes. It was a hard fixture, but they do have Southampton at home, so if you wanted the entry point, Gibbs White and Elanga look amazing this week. I wouldn't be going anywhere near Hudson-Odoi, though. I don't think he is worth the asking price. Now, moving on to the next list. Eze here still looks really good. That's 3 returns in the last 3 weeks. He has been massively overperforming his expected goal involvement, but again, across the season, 0.29, 0.14. So he's 0.43 combined to SAR's 0.5. So there's not a hell of a lot in it. I just prefer Eze's quality. I just think that he's got more about him. He's a bit more ruthless in terms of getting those points and stuff like that. Now, on to Liverpool options. There are 2 Liverpool options I think you should be looking at that are really good differentials. Now, Slobberslai, his numbers for the season, his 1.5% ownership only costs you 6.3. Now, when he does play 90 minutes, he is really good. Obviously, the Tottenham game, he got 17 points there when he played 90. He obviously got 10 points against Southampton, played 90. The only problem is he is a little bit of a rotation risk, a bit like all the Liverpool players. But across the season, 0.29 expected goals per 90, 0.21 expected assists. For that double game week, we could expect him to get a nice return. He's just someone I'd like the look of. He's not an injury risk at the moment either. The other one, though, that I really hope can actually get a start. I want to see a start between now and game week 24, or potentially this weekend before they play Ipswich the following game week. Ideally, I'd like to see Jota starting because he's been ruthless off the bench. That's 3 goals in the last 6 weeks now from like literally no minutes at all. For the season now, he's up to 0.71 expected goals per 90, 0.09 expected assists. Once he is fit, he's 100% going to start. He's definitely their best attacker outside Salah. So for me, it's just a matter of when. I just want to see it before I jump in. But he's definitely an option. He's definitely on the radar. Someone you should be looking at potentially is that third Liverpool player, 100%. Now, Lucas Paquetá, he's actually a really nice budget option for West Ham. 5.7 mil. His numbers per 90, 0.26 expected goals, 0.12 expected assists. Obviously, he's on penalties as well, now that Jared Bowen is not available. So that makes him kind of appealing. And if Graham Potter does manage to get the new manager bounce, which looked pretty evident from the first 2 games, he's going to be involved, which makes him a lot more attractive. And from an attacking sense, I wouldn't be concerned over the next 4 games from a West Ham perspective. If they can get the ball forward and work some stuff, they're going to get goals. And then you just have to look at ahead. Game week 29, which is going to be the blank one. They've got Everton away, nice fixture there. Leicester at home in 27. There's a lot there to get excited about. Now, Kudos fits in this category as well, but he's way further down the list, and I probably wouldn't be looking at him unless you're super desperate. Now, someone that you should be looking at, Phil Foden. I said this 4 weeks ago, 5.5% ownership. Only 5.5% of us got the 15 points, but I was one of them, and I'm super happy I was one of them. 0.91 expected goal involvement for his 2 goals there. He's actually a man of all the City players. Him and Savinho are players that are in form. The only problem is that the rest of the team really isn't. He's now up to 0.26 expected goals per 90, 0.37 expected assists. So this man is definitely getting the business done. He's getting trusted. He's pretty much playing 90 minutes every week. I'm excited for the Ipswich game. And then, depending on how he goes in the Ipswich game, it's definitely a wait and see, because I think Chelsea can be attacked, particularly at the Etihad. So he might be someone that I just keep a hold of. So I really like Phil Foden there. And for me, he's definitely someone I think people should be aware of just in general. Now, other than that, someone else that is going under the radar, and the only reason why he's not on here is because of the fact that I haven't seen the Southampton game, because obviously I'm recording this prior to then. But if Garnacho obviously started against Arsenal on the weekend, now if Ruben Amorim came out and said he's still learning the system, But he could be a really good differential. Down to 5% ownership now, 6 million. He's not going to cost you too much. Man United have that delicious Leicester game in game week 29. Ipswich in 27. Southampton now. They're obviously going to miss the Southampton game because it's not going to be on there. But the run of fixtures up to game week 29 when you're potentially wildcarding game week 30 look really good for Man United, which is why Garnacho's on there. So, look, he's not on the list because I haven't seen the thing, but he's definitely someone that you should be aware of. Now, moving on to the defenders, we are going to start rattling through these because these have been covered to death. The pick this week, if you're picking defenders, 4.8 mil, it's Milinkovic. 0.14 expected goals per 90, 0.02 expected assists. He did blank on the weekend for the first time in 6 weeks. They've got Southampton at home. Like, honestly, Nottingham Forest don't concede goals. I genuinely cannot see Southampton scoring here. It's a guaranteed 6 points. If he gets his head on a couple of forwards, corner kicks or whatever, he could be really good. And the next 3 weeks, I'm confident in the Forest defence to the point where I'm going to probably pick one of them instead of the Palace ones. Only because of the fact that Forest will not be blanking in blank game week 29. If you look ahead there, they've got Ipswich away in game week 29. So, like, really good assets to buy with a little bit of forward planning. It will save you having to transfer anyone out. If Crystal Palace versus Newcastle does blank in that game week, you won't have to be worrying about those particular assets. Again, Murillo, slightly cheaper, 0.2 million cheaper, 6 points less for the season. Again, that's probably because he missed the Everton game. Otherwise, he'd be on the exact same. So, like, just keep that in mind. Again, his goal threat isn't anywhere near as good. He's only got 1 goal compared to Milinkovic's, I think, 3. So just keep that in mind. But he is really good. Like, he's been getting bonus. So it's just something to keep in mind there. Kirkhead's still a really good option. But as I said, the Bournemouth fixture run for the next few isn't the best. And I don't expect them to keep a clean sheet in the next 3 weeks. But other than that, I'm holding him for game week 25. 26, 27, and then we look ahead at game week 29, 30. He's got really nice fixtures again. So for me, I'll probably just ride it out, the Bournemouth players, and just I'll happily lose a little bit of team value just to keep him. Robinson's still definitely the pick from Fulham, 25% ownership, but we're not going to talk about him. Gahey, though, gone under the radar now. That's 1, 2, 3 goals for the season, 1 assist. His underlying attacking data is not very good. But he has scored. Like, he's obviously got a couple of own goals as well, so he's capable of that. But he is actually outperforming Munoz now in the standings. So just keep that in mind. Munoz here actually put up some of his worst numbers for the season in this game. Only 0.05 expected goal involvement. The next run of fixtures are amazing. Like, you can't go wrong with any of these Palace assets. Now, he does cost the same price as Mitchell now, who's also 4.8. He had a much better assist threat and goal threat on the weekend. So that's something to keep in mind. You can't go wrong with either of them as far as I'm concerned. I think they'll both be really good options. Julian Timber's still a really good option from Arsenal if you're after a cheaper kind of defender in, like I've got in my team. 5.2% ownership. Again, the numbers are there, but they're just not keeping clean sheets, which is so frustrating from an ownership perspective. Mikolenko is probably someone you could be looking at from Everton. 5.8% ownership in preparation for that double game week. Obviously, 24 is Leicester at home, Liverpool at home. You'd expect him to keep 1 clean sheet there. That's just my personal thinking. 8 Nori's been okay, but again, the Wolves' defence, just they struggle to keep the ball out of the net. Now, Chalobah's the interesting one. Now, didn't play against Leicester on the weekend. He has been recalled by Chelsea, so this is going to change. He's no longer going to be Crystal Palace. When he plays, now I'll have to pull up a Chelsea player just to show you the fixture run. He will 100% make Crystal Palace worse off with him not being in the team because they haven't defended as well with him in the team all season, if that makes sense. I think I just confused my own words there. Let's find a Chelsea defender. Like, there's none even on the first page. That tells you how bad the Chelsea defence have been. If we go to the second page, all right, Cucurella. He's a good differential, actually, but he's cost way too much money. As you can see here, the Chelsea fixture right now, I don't know if he comes in for the Wolves game, but realistically, if he starting at the centre-back position, he's got a beautiful run of fixtures between now and game week 29. Other than the Arsenal game and game week 29, not fabulous, but Leicester, Southampton, Villa, Brighton, West Ham, Man City, Wolves. Chalobah is a serious option if he starts playing there. Like, I love him as an option. Think he's going to be great. Now, lots of Man United defenders could be on this list, but in reality, it's only one that actually makes it, and I'm going to have to probably type him in. Harry Maguire has been super good. Now, he does cost 4.9, so he is relatively expensive. But the last few weeks, he's been amazing. He has played 90 minutes pretty much every week for the last 5 weeks as well. And it looks like the back three might have finally figured out the system. Now, if they have, I expect the defensive data to really improve for Man United. And Harry Maguire, I think, would be the pick. Mazarawi, yes, is cheaper. And potentially could go there instead. But 0.6% ownership, it's inevitable that Harry Maguire is eventually going to get his head on one of these crosses. So, yeah, that's definitely something to keep in mind. And lastly, on the goalkeepers, there's only 2 of these, so I'm going to wrap these up super quickly. Alisson Becker's probably still the pick with that Liverpool double game week coming up. He's going to be the defender I'd take in. I'm not mucking around with it. You shouldn't be wasting transfers on goalkeepers anyway. This is purely for people pretty much on wildcard at this point. The fixtures, Brentford away, I'm expecting him to concede. I'm honestly trying to work out whether I play Fabianski this week instead of Becker. I just can see Brentford scoring there. Ipswich at home though, I'm excited for that. Bournemouth, Everton, Wolves. The fixture run is actually not too bad. Game week 24, I'm hoping that he's going to at least keep 1 clean sheet over there to make it worth the while. Otherwise, it's been a little bit disappointing. I mean, like, he hasn't kept that many clean sheets in the last 4. It's actually been quite disappointing from a defensive standpoint from Liverpool. Like, the numbers, 0.34, 0.36, 0.31, 3 of the last 4 weeks. It's just unlucky that he's conceded. Now, the real cheap one, and this guy's only in here because of the fact that Newcastle's run's been so good. Since he's been in the team and Nick Pope's been out, they've kept 5 clean sheets in 6 games. Like, unbelievably good defensive data there. So definitely someone you want to keep an eye on. I'm going to finish on that. Let me know if I missed anyone that you think could be a differential. Remember, they have to be under 10% ownership. Make sure if you've made it all the way through to the end that you like the video, and please smash the subscribe button if you haven't already as well. Thanks for watching. That's been the D Unit.